So the question of the day is love or family. And I'm taking off the show 90 Day Fiance. Before the 90 days, a couple that's been on for a while, Gino and Jasmine. Gino's a little eccentric, a little odd, and Jasmine's a little bit of a diva and spoiled. And this is their personas of this supposedly real life reality couple on TLC's 90 Day Fiance. And the franchise basically shows couples getting together with US couples getting together with people of other countries. So that's the basis of the franchise if you don't know about 90 Day Fiance. But these are the two personalities that we're dealing with: a little bit odd and eccentric, and a little bit of a diva and spoiled. I see that Gino has stood up for himself more recently, and their relationship has gotten better for different reasons. Sometimes there's a little bit too much TMI when it comes to things going on in the bedroom factor, but this question is for them because she basically said that she should be first above his family. They're not married yet, but he's saying, well, once we're married, then that can be a completely true fact, but we're still trying to get the K1 visa and all of that together so you can come to America, all of the legal things so that they can be married and she can be in America. The family doesn't seem to be taking a liking to her. So that's the scenario, even though he has a close connection with his family and he feels like his family really cares for him and they have a bond. She's basically saying she should be put first above the family. Now, if you look at it biblically, it's true. The Bible says you should leave your mother and father and cleave to your wife. This is the scenario that should happen once you get married. To me, it depends on the partners and the people involved. Watching this couple as they evolve, they've both had their issues. They've done each other dirty for different reasons. Jasmine can be pretty demanding financially and want a lot from Gino. Gino is doing okay for himself. I think he's in retiring mode or starting to retire, but he is not rich, and he basically lets Jasmine know that they have different issues with their love life and all of that that's going on with them. So to see between love or family, do you guys think that that's a fair question? Is that something that your partner should pose to you? Because I really feel like that's not really a fair question. In most relationships, you shouldn't have to pick or choose. Now, I know there are some toxic families that may be opposed or may be negative, and you may have had trouble with them your whole life, and them accepting your partner is probably something that they wouldn't do anyway because you guys haven't really gotten along well. And then there's times when the family may see something that you don't see about your partner, and they're just trying to help and support you and get you out of a bad situation. It really depends. It could go a lot of different ways. But I don't feel like you should really have to choose. Gino says, he puts Jasmine and his family on the same level. They're both number one to him, basically. So in that scenario, is that possible? That probably may not even be possible either, because once you get married, your partner does have to be number one. You're living together, spending most of your time with that person, and you want to work things out. Excuse me, yes, but yes, it shouldn't really be a choice. Your partner really, I don't think, should put you in that position where choose me or your family. Again, there can be certain scenarios, but in most relationships where the family is good and you have a decent partner that you're working with, that shouldn't be a thought. Each partner, I think, should put your family and your partner's family in consideration. You should know that they have some level of a bond and respect that and support that as much as you can. Even if you guys don't get along, just to make an effort will be good. If you come into it and you don't want to make an effort, you right away just don't want to deal with it. It shows you that you're impatient, and what does that mean for you and your partner anyway? if you already have that type of impatient spirit and impatient vibe. So again, it could be a lot of scenarios. And looking at Gino and Jasmine, I do feel that they both have some toxic issues, especially for me, Jasmine. I don't know if she's really wife material on some of the things that she's done, some of the things that's happened between them, and the fact that she seems to want a lot financially through the relationship, and she's a little spoiled. I don't know if she's really the best partner or the best person to carry on life with, the best person to even ask the question love or family, because it seems like that she loves more herself and her things going on in her own life versus Gino and his family. So to be in some type of a somewhat of a toxic relationship, I don't think love or family is even a choice or an option, because you have to have the right person that is going to put all of that in consideration for you. In the beginning of relationships, we all kind of put that person first. We're googly eyed, we're in love. I've done it before myself. And, hopefully everything evens and balances out over time. And, God leads you, and both of you definitely realize that you do put each other first when it comes to your love and romance and marriage partnership, but you put God first when it comes to everything and anything, because it can become somewhat of a worship scenario if you're putting someone first above everything and all things in life. It can be unhealthy, and that will definitely be a toxic relationship that you would not or should not have to live that type of lifestyle. You shouldn't be in a place where your partner is everything and you put even yourself on the back burner, you put God on the back burner, and you put your family and all the things that you love in life. You have to be a healthy, balanced person. And that balance is going to make your relationship more interesting, more exciting. You're going to want to be with that person. But if it's a scenario where basically you're the lapdog to that person and you do basically whatever they want, and it seems like that's kind of what Jasmine wants Gino to do. She puts him down at times and talks about him. I just really think it's a lot of toxicity in this relationship. And in that scenario, you can't really choose love or family, because that person is just not the right person. Now, if it's a person that considers you, loves you, and is truly being a real partner to you, then I could see you maybe trying to consider that choice. But again, I feel like a real partner, a real person that loves you, is not going to put you in that position unless they see you may have an unhealthy, toxic relationship with your family, and you guys are very codependent, and you don't know how to untie that and tie that knot with the person that you're with. If it's that type of scenario, then that's something you really have to consider and work on. And it all depends on the people, the couple. And I would definitely just ask God to lead me when it comes to these type of scenarios, because when you get in a relationship, and I found myself also learning more about myself, learning more about my weaknesses and my failures, learning more about my connection with my family, and some different things that may have to change when you find that person that's going to be your one and it's leading to marriage. These are the things that you have to think about, and you have to do an introspection on yourself to see if you're ready for this, to see what you need to work on as a person. And it's definitely something that's going to take time, that you need to take time with. And you really need to take time to see, is this person the one for you, before you can even ask someone that question. And they've been in it for a while. They've been off and on. They've been fighting a lot. So they've been having a lot of issues anyway. I am hoping that their relationship can be resolved and work out, but there's just so many issues, and even new issues that I see coming up as the new episodes are coming out, and they're giving us previews, letting us know that Jasmine may have had some indiscretions recently within their relationship timeline. So that's a whole nother issue. And if you're dealing with someone like that, how can they even ask you that question, love or family, when they don't put you first? that's really, the Bible talks about being unequally yoked, yes. And it's also just very unfair for your relationship. You should have a balance. If you want that person to put you first, shouldn't you put them first? And it feels like a very one-way, one-sided relationship on some levels. Jasmine is very needy and wants everything for herself and is very self-involved, while Gino seems like he has to cater to everything that she wants, even things that seem unreasonable. They can't work anything out. She's whining, she's crying, and she's not acting as if she's a responsible, strong adult woman that she should be. So is this partially just what they're showing us on the show and they're editing it and it's a little bit of a put on? I don't know, but a lot of it just seems like, if I was Gino, I would not continue. Gino does have his issues, but I think he needs to work on those issues and maybe find someone that is willing to work with him and find someone that's not going to take advantage of him, because I feel that that's really the scenario. And I don't know if Jasmine's also in it to be on TLC, to be on TV. I don't know if there's some type of extra thing going on. That's the hard thing when you're dealing with reality shows and being on TV and supposedly finding love. What's real and what's not real? Personally, and to the audience and the viewers, do you know what's real and what's not real? And you can still learn from some of these relationships and some of these things going on, because people go through these things. People deal with people that are toxic. And if you're dealing with a toxic person, this question does not even apply, love or family. Love should be, I love myself enough to walk away. I love myself enough to give it more time to see if we can work this out. I'm not going to rush this. Cussing each other out and all fighting and fussing is not the thing. And, Jasmine was really, on one of the previews, really giving it to him, cussing him out. And he was kind of half cussing her out. He was still trying to be that nice guy, even though he was being cussed out. Now, cussing people out makes you not a nice guy anymore, but you guys know what I mean. He just seems to be very timid, very fragile, and when you're dealing with somebody like that, they need someone that understands that about you. That, I'm sensitive. I need a certain type of person that understands my issues and my traumas and is able to be supportive to me. And, because everybody's not that way and everybody can't be that way. You shouldn't expect that with every relationship you get into. That person just may not be built that way, but that's why you have to move on at times and find the right person. But for me, in my thoughts, when it comes to the end of the day, love or family, you shouldn't have to choose. Obviously, your partner, your spouse is going to be number one. You're going to be together all the time, and depending on your situation, your age, and your desires as a couple, you're going to have a family together. That's going to be a really new type bond. Your family can still be in the picture, but of course, they are not going to be first. But they can still be a good, great, and big part of your life. And ideally, that should be the scenario of how things go. So I don't feel that you should choose, but I do know and feel that your spouse comes first. That's true. But your family can still be in the picture, and they can still be a very big loving part of your life. Gino said again that he puts Jasmine and his family on the same level. He might not really be able to do things that way, but considering how Jasmine is again not the ideal wife or partner in that way, it can be very difficult. You, again, like I said, your spouse is going to come first. Your family is going to be there, though, and they should be able to be there. If there's no issues between your family and yourself, or your family and your spouse, that would be the ideal scenario. So what are you guys' thoughts? You guys can email me. Let me know at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. Which one would you choose, love or family? This is Irene. Thank you guys for being a part, and God bless.
JerichoCredit.com.
The
the Friday Hype on LICMC Radio.